Hey there! So today we have another video and we're talking about what is a West Coast Pilsner. So this might be the newest kind of one of the newest kind of like style hype things that's happening out in the market. This originated out in the West Coast. We're looking at Highland Park out of San Diego. And I think the story goes they originated in 2016 and they wanted to make a specialty beer and they were like, well, what if we like, build a lager and hop the hell out of it in the American way, how we make IPAs. So that's sort of what we have here. What West Coast Pilsner is pretty much a hybrid between hopping of a West Coast IPA or American IPA and a Pilsner. And you can't really call a beer, an IPA Pilsner, right? Like you're sort of blending styles. So instead of that, we're just going West Coast, which sort of puts the word IPA. West Coast doesn't necessarily mean that it's West Coast hops, because you can use not only the American hops, like you can use the Pacific Northwest hops from the West Coast, but you could also use Southern Hemisphere hops, right? And it's really not defined quite yet, because we're talking about a style that really has gotten a little bit more popular within less than a year. We're talking about like Beervana, Jeff Alworth, who's written Beer Bible, Craft Beer and Brewing. They've written sort of like these articles, like sort of explain these styles, but we're talking about only about 9 months ago. So these are relatively, newer, cooler things happening. And so yeah, we're talking about a beer that's around, about 5 to maybe 6%. So around the Pilsner range, maybe 4.5 around there. And then what you're doing is you're making a lager base, your Pilsner malt, and then actually Highland Park actually uses a little bit of adjuncts. So you can add rice or some other adjuncts to sort of like lean it out, sort of what the macro lagers do. And then you're just going to use all the fresh hops and all the kind of hopping techniques that you'd use for a regular, IPA, and they're out in the West Coast in San Diego. And it's not only specific to San Diego, but like it's creeping, slowly throughout the country. But you're using your IPA techniques, Craft is very much defined by the number one style, which is IPA. Whether you're making hazy IPA, West Coast IPA, whatever you want to call it, IPA, that's the number one style within craft beer. And ideally, you make a good IPA, so you know how to hop something. So you're pretty much making a 5-ish% kind of lean Pilsner malted beer, maybe some adjunct grains, and you're making sort of a Pilsner, but then you're dry hopping, you're whirlpool hopping, you're using these advanced hop products with the liquid this and cryo this and this and that. So you're sort of combining the best of two worlds, hopping the hell out of something while making it lean, light, 5% drinkable, and stripping away a lot of the malts that you'd use for a traditional pale ale, around 5%, right? The pale ale, recession IPA, around that kind of ABV. So I have one here, and it's like really nice and gooseberry forward, Sauvignon Blanc. I suspect there's lots of Nelson in here, Nelson Sauvin. Yeah, very hoppy up front, nice saturated hop character. But then you wait and wait more, and you think it might turn into like a hoppy pale ale, but then it disappears on the palate. I suspect this one has a little bit of adjunct grain possibly, but it's just a lean, clean, kind of like lager-esque kind of experience on the back end, tasting that kind of graininess on the back end. So it's pretty much a super hopped Pilsner. We already had that moment with the Italian Pilsner kind of movement, and that's sort of a dry hop lager using more traditional German noble hops and all that other stuff. Here we're going all the way. We're going American IPA character, because this obviously has Southern Hemisphere, Australian, New Zealand hops. There you go. So that's what a West Coast Pilsner is. It's just American IPA hopping techniques used on a 5% kind of Pilsner kind of body. So tasty stuff, and I can't wait to try more. This is the only one I've actually been able to find in my market. Cheers later.